guys. So I've been getting a lot of questions about what kind of gear I use, what equipment I like to use for working out. In my videos on Instagram or YouTube, I do wear some different belts, some different knee sleeves. So I get a lot of questions about what I use for deadlifts, for squats, what shoes I prefer to use, what belts. And I was actually cleaning out my car because that's where I keep all my gears in my trunk because it's too much to keep bringing back and forth. So I was cleaning out my car, so I have it all on the floor in front of me. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity. I'm going to go work out in a little bit. So I thought this was a good opportunity to kind of go through what I use and go through like the pros and cons of things that I use and what I like about things and what I don't. So the first thing that's in front of me, so this is a belt that I got. I actually use two different belts. So this is a buckle belt that I got from, Inzer. Couldn't remember the name for a second. It's a 13 millimeter. I actually got it about 2 months ago. It's still pretty stiff. Inzer belts, especially when you first get them, they can be a little bit hard to break in. So this one is a 13 millimeter. So this has been a little bit tricky to break in just because when I first got it, it was like impossible to even buckle. But I really like it because it's 13 millimeters. I've been using a 10 millimeter belt for, well, since I've been lifting, so a couple years, well, since I've been using a belt. I've been using a belt for about 1.5 years. So this is my first 13 millimeter and I really like it. I feel like a 13 actually gives me a little bit more support. And I do prefer a buckle, especially in the off season or in between seasons when I'm reverse dieting, because my weight and my waist tend to fluctuate. Well, even in season, my weight fluctuates quite a bit. But especially off season, my weight, like, you know, just depending on sodium, carbs, everything, travel, my weight can fluctuate. So having a buckle is actually a lot better option for me at this point because having a lever belt where it's, well, I'll show you in a second, my lever, my iron tanks, it's screwed in. So literally you have to take a screw with you if your waist changes sizes or you need a little bit looser or tighter. So that's why I like this one for now. But I do really like this Inzer belt, 13 millimeter, just black. It's a small. So I wear a small and I usually wear it on like the medium or right in the center buckle. I prefer it, so when I wear it for squats and deadlifts, I prefer it pretty tight. So I get it to about the 4th or 5th buckle. So there's a little bit of give, so that gives me some room. So when I take in my breath before squatting and deadlifting, then I can expand my core because you don't want it so tight that it's suffocating you that you can't get your breath in. And that's what I found with my lever belt actually. At one point when I had it on a smaller buckle that it was too tight and I wasn't able to get enough air in my core for support, because that's a huge part of squatting and deadlifting is core support. So this is my Iron Tanks lever belt, and as you can see it has this little contraption and it is screwed in. So there is no moving this unless you have a screwdriver with you. So that's why I prefer to take the buckle with me too. This is a 10 millimeter and it's a little bit, as you can see, it's a little bit more flimsy. I still really like this belt. When I ordered it from, the thing about Iron Tanks and Inzer are both IPF approved, which is important if you're competing in USAPL. Well, if you're competing in some local USAPL events, they usually don't care if you have like a, because I used to have a Rogue belt. But see this one, so if I wanted a little looser, I'd have to use a screwdriver. God, I'm like, today my waist is like see today, this would be too tight. I wouldn't want to wear this because it's already too tight, and when I take in my breath, I can't get in as much core support. So that's, you really, when you're picking out a belt or when you're finding which hole to put the belt on, it's important to realize that you need, or figure out what's best for you. Some people like it a little tighter. Some people like it tighter on squats than deadlifts, or tighter on deadlifts than squats. It really just depends. But I like this one. I actually use this one at nationals, where I won juniors for nationals. So really good belt, you know, good quality. but overall I prefer my Inzer just because it is 13 millimeters. And I also like the buckle because just waist issues and fluctuations. So, but I usually do take both those belts with me to the gym, just depending on how I'm feeling. So next, I always take chalk with me. This is my bag of chalk. So put it on my hands, I put it on my back for squats. I keep it in a bag because one gym I go to, you're technically not supposed to have chalk, so I try to keep it neat. They've never said anything to me. Fingers crossed so far. I'm pretty cleanly when it comes to chalk at the gym. I keep it contained. So as long as you keep it contained, they shouldn't have an issue with you. But if you start, you know, getting chalk everywhere, then they probably will tell you to take it away. Which is why I like Beyond Limits, the other gym I go to, because there's chalk everywhere and no one cares. So next are knee sleeves. So I actually wear two different pairs. So these are my SBD knee sleeves, and I really like these. I've had these since, well, I've been wearing SBDs for over a year, and I've had these ones since March. And these are a small SBD, and I used to wear mediums actually, and then I moved down a size to small. People ask me all the time about sizing. So they have a size chart on their website, and they have tight fit and normal fit. If this is your first pair of SBDs, I would not recommend getting the tight fit because it might be a little bit of a shock to you on how hard they are to get on. I have a specific way that I put them on, which I can actually do a video on that if that is helpful for some of you guys. If you guys want to leave a comment if that would be helpful for you. That I find it very easy to get these on. But if it's your first pair, I would recommend going with the standard fit, but there is a size chart. So if you ask me to what size you should get, honestly, I don't really know unless I know your knee measurement size. So measure your knees, measure your calves. You want to make sure that your calves are not bigger than your knee size, because then you won't be able to get them up your knees, or up your calves. So make sure that the size you get can also get above your calves as well. All right. So next, I have another pair of knee sleeves that I'm using, and these sleeves are the Slingshot, I'll turn these inside out, Slingshot Strong knee sleeves, and I really like these. These are comparable to the SBDs. These are smalls, and same thing with sizing wise. They should have a chart, I'm not really sure. These are newer actually, and they came out I think last month or a couple months ago. Slingshot released these, and they're very comparable to SBDs. I switch back and forth just because I want to keep both of them. You know, I don't want to wear one out and then only, you know, and then just have the other one. I don't know. Depending on the day, these actually fit a little bit tighter. So if I want a little bit more support, I've actually been using these. So really like these as well. So next I have wrist wraps and this armband. So I've been getting a little bit of tendonitis in my right arm, so I've been wearing this Slingshot on my right arm. People have been asking, and it helps for bench and especially bench and squats. These are Gangster wrist wraps. I used to use, I think it was Inzer wrist wraps. I prefer these over them. They're just the Gangster Slingshot wrist wraps. I wear them for bench, for squat, and for deadlift because they help with my grip a little bit. And if you're having problems with low bar squatting and you're finding your wrists hurting, these would be a really good option. So I wear these all the time. And I even wear them for accessory work too, with like skull crushers and just where I need some support for my wrists. All right, so I got a lot of questions about my squat shoes. So I actually wear Adidas Powerlifts 2.0s, and they are probably your most affordable squat shoe option. I like them. I used to wear the Nike, whatever they're called, Ramol, I don't know, something with an R, which have a little bit higher of a heel, and I have found the lower heel actually works for me better. And these are a good starter shoe too, because the Nikes are probably like $175, and these are closer to like $80. I think I just saw them for sale online for like $62 actually. And so I have a couple pairs of these. I really like them. Alright, so for deadlifts, I wear deadlift slippers. These are metal deadlift slippers. These are 30 bucks. I can't remember where I got them. I think AndersonPowerlifting.com has them. And these, when I deadlift, I prefer to be as close to the floor as possible. So I used to wear actually wrestling shoes when I deadlifted, but I actually found that I prefer nothing. So this is pretty much the flattest you can get for deadlifts, and this is what I like. The bottom is, I'm not even sure, it looks like leather or something, and I found that these are really good. They don't slip or anything, so I really like these. I have liquid chalk, more chalk, and then these are quick release tourniquets. So people have asked me what I use for BFR for my arms, and this is what I use. They are, you can order them on Amazon. Make sure you order 2 because I think they're sold separately. They're sold as individuals. So I just wrap this on my arm. I can demonstrate quickly. So my lacrosse ball, well, and I'll show you guys. This is the lacrosse ball that I use for mobility work. I don't see my foam roller or my rope, but I also bring a foam roller and a rope for stretching that I use for like hamstring stretches and some side bend stretches. I take those with me everywhere. So how to put this on? So I just put it on my arm and then I just pull it decently tight until I can kind of see the fluid shift, and you can see my veins start to fill up with blood. And this is where I wrap. I wrap right here for if I do shoulder BFR, if I do bicep, if I do tricep, if I do some back BFR. I do quite a bit of BFR because since my powerlifting program is very heavy, I prefer my accessory work not to be super heavy. I like the BFR because I can use a lower percentage of my 1 rep max and still get the hypertrophy benefits, which I find easier on my body. I recover better, so I like these a lot. I bring them with me everywhere. Baby powder I bring with me for my quads. I put it on my quads when I deadlift. For deadlifts especially, because it helps with the bar path along your quads. If you're rubbing up against your quads, it just helps if your hands touch your quads to move smoother and faster and help with I guess you would say like friction on your leg. Next I have some Tiger Balm. I usually bring like Icy Hot or Tiger Balm with me if I'm having little aches and pains. Skittles. I usually have food with me. So I have some carbs, some protein. Usually I have like a serving of protein, like 20 grams of protein that I take like right after my workout because I'm hungry. And maybe some rice cakes, like caramel rice cakes or regular rice cakes or Skittles. And then I always have gum because I chew gum. And then I always have branched chain amino acids with me. Extend. This is what I drink. So this is green apple. So I usually drink about 22 grams in my jug of drugs. My gallon, I usually put about 22 grams of BCAAs that I drink during my workout, and then I usually have a scoop post-workout. So I drink lots of BCAAs. So I hope this was helpful for some of you guys, and I hope it was interesting and maybe cleared up some questions about some of the stuff that I use. It's just, this is what I found, the gear that has worked best for me, and I use quite a bit, but if you're squatting and deadlifting 3 times per week, then it really helps to invest in some good quality stuff. So I hope this is helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.